Happy Wednesday, hockey fans. We're back for week 4 of NHL Chatroom, live right now on Sportsnet's YouTube and Facebook channels. While you're here, hit the subscribe button so you never miss one of our shows. And as always, you, the fans, are the integral part of this show. So get in the chat right now and tell us where you're watching from and who you think is going to win Game 3 tonight. Either a lightning bolt or a star emoji, and we'll see what the consensus is. Steve, what's happening?
I just learned how bougie you are. You said integral. I always say integral. Am I a commoner? Are you smarter than me?
I don't know. We'll have to look at my Ivy League education and see which way is the proper way to pronounce that word.
Okay. Wow. You pulled that card. Wow. Okay.
Anywho, how are you doing, Steve?
I'm pretty good. I was happy that the Tampa Bay Lightning decided to save hockey in Game 2, and it was very fun. No, that's insulting to the Dallas Stars. But no one wants to see a sweep in the Stanley Cup Final. In the mid-'90s, it felt like there were 2, 3, 4 straight, and it was boring. I want to see this go at least 6. So it sure looks like it's heading in that direction.
I wasn't alive in the mid-'90s, so I wouldn't know.
Okay. All right.
Let's get into our headlines right off the top. We're seeing a lot of people picking Tampa in the chat. And that's our first headline, actually. So Tampa, as we said, was behind the 8 ball early, even the series. So now the main question is, do they have the momentum heading into tonight's Game 3? And, I mean, the chat certainly thinks so. I do tend to agree with what the chat says because they're always right. But it looked like Tampa was tired at the beginning of Game 1, and now they have, I think, a little bit of a boost. So, I mean, what did they change? And going into tonight's Game 3, are you riding the Tampa's hot streak or not?
To me, the tale of both games has been teams getting into penalty trouble. So maybe Tampa being tired in Game 1 led them to take a couple tripping calls. Jason Dickinson was a penalty drawing wizard, and then they're able the Stars were able to wear them down and get the win there. Then it was the Stars being the naughty boys in the first period and allowing Nikita Kucherov and company to go to work. Look at this. That's the first goal. That's not even the nicest one. Are we about to? Ugh! Andre Palat wasn't even expecting that pass. The shot was terrible. God, it was so good. Yeah, good work there too. I just feel like so far I don't have a good grasp of the series because the power play and special teams have dictated so much of it. Last year's Stanley Cup Final, the power plays, I believe, went 7 in Game 1, 8 in Game 2, 9 in Game 3 before completely falling off a cliff. So I think once the refs swallow their whistles, which is going to happen, that's when we'll know who the best team is.
We have some comments weighing in here. Lucas Johnson says he thinks Tampa is a better team when healthy, but they aren't healthy, so the Stars might win.
I mean,
understandable.
Isn't that always the story? Isn't
right?
That always, well, if only they have, the Stars can only beat the team they're playing, man.
That's correct. And not sure how to pronounce this. XAXAQ. Watching from Sweden. Welcome. Think Tampa will win. Unfortunately, got work tomorrow, so going to miss the match. 12 a.m. here. Well, get some sleep, and we'll have to update you. You can rewatch the show in the morning. It'll be on YouTube, so you can, figure out if you were right or not. But thanks for watching from Sweden. That's really exciting. We're international, Steve.
Hey, Taksamukiets for watching.
Oh, my. I don't have any Sweden. I went to Sweden once for a hockey tournament, but I don't think I picked anything up. So, unfortunately.
Did you win?
Yeah, we did. We did win, actually.
Oh, you picked something up.
It was a Sweden and Finland trip, and I was in grade 8, so I don't remember much. But let's hear some more from our loyal viewers. We have another person, Marcus Watchhorn, saying, all the way from the UK, Tampa will win tonight. Wow. Does anybody watch from North America?
Yeah, seriously, we're going to be like, wow, from Oakville? Is that what? Wow! Hey, welcome to the. No, I mean European and any fans from outside of North America, they got to be honestly just straight up more dedicated than us because they got to stay up till 2, 3, 4 in the morning. I got a taste of it in 2012. I watched the draft while I was in Scotland visiting my future in-laws.
Relax.
And it was like 3 in the morning, and luckily the Leafs picked 5th overall, so I got to tap out early. But then I'm waiting for trades, and nothing happened. It was killing me. So I got a taste of their dedication.
There's a town in Scotland called Forfar, which is my last name, in case you've forgotten. So if anyone's from there, like, I'll send you some cool chat room merch. We don't have any, but we'll make some. Anyway, last comment on this before we move on, and I agree with Shoeshine in the chat saying, it really feels like Tampa can take the series if they handle Dallas' second period onslaughts. That's when they feel the most dangerous. And I do think that whoever wins tonight is going to have that momentum, hopefully to propel them throughout the rest of the series. But I have a feeling that this game 3 will be kind of that turning point for whoever gets to hoist the cup. So I guess we'll have to stay tuned after NHL chat room.
Yes, and there's nothing else of significance on tonight at all.
No.
It's NHL chat room, game 3, that's it.
That's it. Yeah, we were a little bit bummed that Prime Minister Trudeau decided to have his worldwide address at 6:30. I mean, we'll be competing for viewers, but...
Well, now you said it.
Sorry. Okay, well, one thing that we don't know the answer to, but has been a talking point on Twitter, is if Steven Stamkos will be returning to the Tampa Bay Lightning lineup. And I mean, it's funny, every time you go on Twitter, it's like, he's close. He's inching closer. And it's like, hey, like, how far is that, though? Like, is it next game? Is it next month? So we have really no idea. Obviously, we're not doctors. But it is pretty crazy to think that Tampa has gotten this far in the Stanley Cup Final without Stamkos. Obviously, he's bringing some leadership abilities off the ice. Like they saw, he came out after they won the conference championship, and it was crazy to see him there in the tunnel. He had the biggest beard, and I didn't recognize who he was. He looked like he just waltzed out of the woods like from the past. It was crazy. But so he's obviously around the team. He's in the bubble, not playing hockey, which kudos to that, because that's probably just miserable. But what is he able to do for the team if he does make a return? Obviously, like offensively, there's no question, but just that morale of having your star player back. So Stamkos could be, we don't know, could be returning. But what would you think if he could actually get back on the ice, Steve?
It's, they're probably worried about him being up to game speed, but Steven Stamkos has one of those, maybe one of the dozen or so guys in the league who just has that touch of God shot where if he gets it right, it's going in, or it's going to be hard to stop, or it's going to really, really hurt if you try and block it. I mean, he looks pretty good there.
Look at that beard, though. Wow.
Look at that trot, the confidence. You know what? I really got a lot of respect for Steven Stamkos, too, and I kind of am rooting for him to win a Stanley Cup, to be honest, because he's been in the bubble all this time, not playing any games. He didn't make the Sochi team, and he definitely should have. 2018, he obviously never got the chance because the NHL didn't go to the Olympics. The best commercial I've ever seen was a Nike commercial about Steven Stamkos making the 2010 Olympic team, and that commercial never got released because he didn't make the team. I just want to see this guy win, and I think it'd be such a good story.
I saw a lot of, everyone always says, oh, when you put your name on the group project and you didn't do anything, and like people are saying that on Twitter, and I'm like, this guy did everything for this team. It's unfortunate he can't be playing, but it doesn't take anything away from what he does as a leader and as like a veteran in the room. And there was just some weird comments online, like people love to chirp and like, oh, just hoist the cup, and does it really count for him? Like, obviously it counts. And
today I learned,
maybe they'll trade him if they can win the cup without him. Okay.
What? Like, today I learned 29 goals, 37 assists, 66 points in 57 games is nothing.
Yeah.
Like, come on. If this guy returns to the lineup, he is going to be an impact player. It might be like an overripe thing. Like, they don't want to take any risks with him whatsoever. I mean, he's an NHL player and it's the Stanley Cup playoffs. He probably thinks he could have played 2 months ago.
Oh, for sure.
The doctors do need to make the final call. I have a feeling if it were an elimination game, he'd be playing 100%. They just don't want to take any unnecessary risks.
Well, we'll definitely have to wait and see. Obviously, we're eager to find out more. Maybe tonight could be the night. We don't know, so don't quote us on it. But one final comment from the chat here from Jacob. I think Stamkos would be useful on the power play and in Domi-like depth role just to lift the morale and energy in the room. Well, he should be the coach.
Yeah, not John Arbuckle or whatever his name is.
So we certainly can't vote for Stamkos in the Conn Smythe Trophy rankings, but there have been some players that have certainly jumped up the rankings, obviously, in the last couple of weeks. If we were to hand out the award right now, not knowing who wins or all these important games ahead, my 2 picks would be Khudobin or Kucherov, depending on who wins the cup. So obviously, I think Dobby has been the story. We've talked about Dobby. He's a friend of the show. We love that guy. Obviously, yeah, he's a legend. So if they can pull off a championship here, I don't see how he doesn't win the Conn Smythe for Dallas. But if I look at Tampa, it's been a lot closer, in my opinion. It's kind of who's going to stand out in the next few games. You definitely could have said Point. You could have said Hedman. But in my recency bias, I would go with Kucherov if they were to award it tonight without this game being played. So that's my take on the Conn Smythe for now. But definitely a tighter debate for Tampa, and I'm sure the chat will be all over this. So please put in who you think should win if the game's ended now.
Kucherov is so interesting, man. When he's dialed in, there are a few players better in the league, but God, when he's distracted, he's such an easy target for like a dumb penalty, a turnover, something like that. Dallas is going to target him hard. Well, you went with 2 Ks. I'm going to go with 2 Hs. I got Miro Heiskanen, and I know it's weird, for the Dallas Stars, and I got Victor Hedman for the Tampa Bay Lightning. And if you're big on themes, 2 defensemen as well. Everyone, the Dallas Stars are full of fantastic stories. Anton Hudobin, like we talked about. Joel Kiviranta. Joel Hanley is probably the best one.
Joel Hanley, we're going to talk about him later. Stay tuned.
But Miro Heiskanen has just been absolutely driving the bus for this team. He's one of the leading scorers in these playoffs. It's just, he's a real game breaker. So they talk about the big 3, like Radulov, Ben, and Sagan. They're not always producing for them. They're doing other things for sure, but Heiskanen is he's such a unique player on this team, and he, frees up space for Lindell. He frees up space for Klingberg, who I think has had a very good first 2 games. He's just a game breaker to me.
So Braden Thomas has a question about Tyler Seguin, who you just brought up. 8 points in 22 games. There's definitely been something missing from his game. Not sure. He looks frustrated. I mean, I feel like the camera always goes to him on the bench, and he's like, just missed an opportunity, or he looks like he's definitely gripping his stick a bit hard. And I've been there. I scored 1 goal in the entire season, so I know how it feels. But it looks like Sagan's a bit off his game, and maybe that's why the other stars are shining brighter. That was not meant to be a pun.
Wow. No, it could be. But I remember the 2013 playoffs, what basically got Tyler Seguin traded out of Boston. I think he had 1 goal on 72 shots or something like that. It's so often throughout his career for a star and a $9 million player. Oh, Tyler Seguin is on this huge slump. I think that just happens to him offensively, but look where the Stars are. He's obviously doing something right.
That's right. And you said Hedman for your second pick, right?
Yes, Victor Hedman. You look at how the Tampa Bay Lightning did last year. God, he's a scary looking dude with a full beard too. He's like an angry Muppet.
Oh my God.
It's an angry Muppet. I said an intimidating Muppet. That's the first one. I thought we were going to show the second one with the slap pat. Oh God, that one's good too. You saw last year with the elimination against Columbus, he didn't look right early in the series. He had to bow out. He got hurt just before the playoffs. All the offensive weapons that Tampa has, yes, they're dangerous. Yes, they're exciting to watch. Victor Hedman steers that boat. So to me, he's the Conn Smythe winner if Tampa were to win.
Right. And Kirby in the chat says, Hedman is way more important to the team's success than Kucherov. And as I said, I think it's really close. It's going to depend on how the rest of the series goes. And it could go 1 more week, or it could go a couple more games. So we'll have to stay tuned. But that's if we were to award the award tonight without any important games still to be played. So we'll see. We'll probably both be wrong somehow.
Hedman and Heiskanen 40 combined points, by the way. They're pretty good.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
So just like last Wednesday, I don't know, everyone tells me Steve Dangle is cursed, and I think it's right. So last Wednesday, we had that trade break like minutes before NHL chat room. We were like on the pre-show, like trying to figure out what's going on. Well, of course it happens again this Wednesday, but did it really happen? We're not quite sure. There was a reported trade that the Penguins traded Patrick Hornqvist to the Panthers in exchange for Mike Matheson. But then, so that went viral. And then there's, oh, wait, maybe he hasn't been traded because nobody can access him or contact him to approve the trade. So now it's like this pending Is he getting traded? Is he not? Like, it's very confusing. And also the trade is terrible for one side. So we just don't really know what's going on. It's a bit of a mess. Steve, break it down for us. And this is probably has to do with the fact that you always just bring trades on Wednesdays. I don't get it.
Apparently this is going to get confirmed at like, when are we off? Like 7:01
it's going to be 7:01.
It's absolutely brutal. I don't understand this trade from Pittsburgh's perspective. And if I were a Penguins fan, I'd be extremely worried right now, because they're not making trades based on hockey. They're making trades based on finances, pretty much exclusively. The Kapanen deal, the Bjugstad deal. Now the mandate is, not only are they not a cap team, they're not I don't know what they are. I don't know what the heck they're doing to this team that has Crosby and Malkin. And in terms of, so Hornqvist obviously owed more money this upcoming season. It's all base salary. But if you look at the Matheson contract, I can't believe what I'm looking at. This is the final season of the deal that does not have a modified no trade clause. After that, it's 5 consecutive, and he's owed $3.5 million this season, but then 5, 4, 4, 4, and 4.5. But, oh wait, that's just base salary in the final 3 years of that deal, which, by the way, this deal ends in 2026, 2.5, 2.5, and 2. So if Jim Rutherford's job from ownership is to save the Penguins money, no, I don't think he did it. I don't think he did it with this trade at all.
It's like when you, not saying that I do this, but when you have had a couple too many beverages and you're like trading people on your fantasy team for fun, and you just toss a crazy trade out there and someone accepts it. That's kind of like what this was. And I saw people on Twitter saying the same thing. Like, is this actually a real trade? Like, there must be something missing. And we obviously don't know if there is something missing because that's been confirmed, but I don't get it. Nobody seems to understand what's happening. The chat is confused. And if the chat's confused, then obviously we should all be confused. Here's the tweet from Elliot Friedman that, maybe it's being held up due to an insurance issue. Not sure if it's a no trade issue. Like, nobody knows. And if he doesn't know, we clearly don't know much. So stay tuned, because I'm sure by the end of this show, we'll have some sort of information on this trade. But obviously a chaotic Wednesday, as always, and we're very much used to that now. Thank you, Steve.
Well, and there was an agent of chaos aspect to this that I thought went underrated. There's a guy on Twitter, _offside, named Reese Jessup, used to actually work for the Panthers. He had a tweet that ruffled a few feathers a few weeks ago that was basically, Quinn Hughes is what happens when Mitch Marner learns gap control. And he's essentially arguing that there are players in the league that are miscast as defensemen or forwards. And often it's the defenseman being miscast as a defenseman. They should be a forward. He was arguing that Matheson should be on the wing. Okay. He can wheel, he can bang, he can snipe, but he's like a healthy scratch as a defenseman with a brutal contract. I wonder if Jim Rutherford is stupid like a fox. Who knows? Who knows?
He was reading Twitter, and he's in the chat room also getting our takes on the trade before they post it. Maybe he's thinking twice about it since we're kind of ripping it. So sorry to him. But it does get us excited. Sorry, what were you going to say?
Sorry, can the chat tell us what Jim Rutherford's burner account is on Twitter?
Yeah, please find it for us. But it gets us excited for the next couple of weeks, because I think there'll be this type of chaos and craziness. Like, 2020 just keeps getting weirder by the minute. So I'm sure trade season, which is just around the corner, is going to be pretty crazy, and kind of segues into our next topic, which was a pretty high-end player being floated around the Twitter sphere. Pietrangelo seems to be done in St. Louis, or is he? He's been told to explore free agency. We're kind of unsure what this is about. Is it, the contract negotiations just got blown up? It's interesting, especially living in Toronto. We kind of hear about, he's going to come home and be a hometown hero, Pajama Boy 2.0. But there's a lot of reasons that might not be the best decision. A flat cap being one, and certain uncertainty for the next season. He's 30 years old, etc. And Steve knows a lot more about the Leafs than most people. So should Toronto go for him? What's the situation here?
I remember a few years ago, people were talking about potentially trading Evgeny Malkin off of the Penguins because the Penguins cannot possibly afford to have this many guys making this much money. And so what did they do that offseason? They went out and got Phil Kessel. So it wouldn't shock me if the Leafs were actually like, you know what, screw it. There is no tomorrow. And after 2020, how could you not feel like there is no tomorrow? Just screw it. Go out and get Alex Pietrangelo, regardless of the consequences. It's not like the Leafs are any good anyway. So you might as well, they haven't won a playoff round. You might as well go out and try to make some noise. You sell the kid on the city, come home, play at home, win at home. But leaving the Stanley Cup champions, that's a hard sell.
It is. And there's also been rumors that Vegas and Calgary have been interested in landing him. Obviously, Vegas would be a pretty cool spot to land. No offense to Calgary, not sure it really competes with your hometown of Toronto. So those are things that, have been circulating on Twitter. I'm curious what the chat thinks, where you think he'll land up. A lot of people say this is just a way for St. Louis to end up signing him in the long run, which I don't really understand. So I think there's a lot of excitement around someone of this caliber maybe moving and starting the trade rumors early. It's going to be a couple weeks till we get things going. But we have a comment from Lemieux. Is it the Lemieux that we know? Are you watching?
It's going to be a disappointment and be Brendan. Oh.
Lemieux says, St. Louis, why do the Blues make cap space by moving Allen to Montreal and not sign him, especially since Pietrangelo says he wants to stay in St. Louis? Well, I would agree with that. It seems a bit weird to make all this space and then let him walk away, but there was rumors that they wouldn't show him the deal or something up front, so it's a bit weird.
Well, and does $11 million sound like a lot of money? It's all I hear all year long is that it's so much money. Well, that's what the Blues are spending on their right side outside of Pietrangelo. Just Parayko and Falk alone, I think are $10.5 or $11 million. They could have a $20 million right side by the time this is all said and done. It'll be pretty good, but can they afford it? I don't know.
Oh, and our buddy Lemieux said that it's actually Isaiah Lemieux. So.
Oh, well,
sorry. We're excited that you're watching, but you got us nervous with Lemieux. I got worried that we had the big guys watching. Last comment on this before we move on to a very heated debate that I've been warming up for all day. DR Hockey says, I'd be okay with him coming to Toronto, but they have to trade at least one of their big contracts, maybe even two. And who would those people be? William Nylander?
I've never heard of that person. I don't know what you're talking about.
Everybody's uncle is like, get rid of Nylander.
Well, yeah, and he scored 30 goals, but he didn't do them the right way. And actually, he had the most net front goals. It doesn't matter. He didn't. Listen, I've said this for a long time. The reason everyone's uncle does not like William Nylander is because he's hot. They hate him because they ain't him.
Steve.
He is. Look at his Instagram. He's a rocket.
No comments on the matter.
Well, I do. He's hot.
Okay, well, getting a little warm in here now. Thinking about William Nylander, and you're talking about his Instagram. And there was one point where he had cornrows and he was eating prosciutto, and I wasn't into that. So
because he's just living life.
He is living life.
He's leaning into it. Like, he probably wants to wear Gap jeans and just a plain shirt, but he's like, you know what? It's upsetting.
No way.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
The Leaf style is all off-white and all these designer brands, all those fit pics of them walking in the playoffs. I was I saw one account that was saying how much money each costume. I say costume, but how much money? It seems like a costume. How much money each outfit was worth, and they were spending $5,000-$6,000 on their pregame fits to walk from the bus into Scotiabank Arena, 10 steps. And I'm like, if you have that much money, it's crazy. So I'll take some if we want to get sponsored by Off-White or Louis Vuitton. It's fine.
Austin Matthews walking into games looking like Darkwing Duck. Go and Google Darkwing Duck. Extremely.
I don't know who that is.
Once again, from the 90s, Ailish.
Yeah, okay. Well, I wasn't around. So.
Wow.
Woo, boy. So that was our headline segment. And, we just like to use that to warm up for what everybody loves, the fun and chaotic, angry yelling session here. So we have the drop the gloves ready for you. Now, this is something that has been spicy, to say the least, in the Twitter sphere as of late. The main question that we have to debate today is, should Leon Draisaitl have won the Hart Trophy? Now, before we get into it, I just want to say that it's just so unfair to shred writers on Twitter who share their ballots and, just want to share their thought process behind voting specific people and not including specific people. So people, just be nice. This isn't the end of the world. Draisaitl still won the Hart Trophy if 3 people didn't put them on their ballot. So just let's just be nice. But in the same time, those people were right, because I think he shouldn't have won the Hart Trophy. So that is my statement. And as of last week, you saw, obviously, we both voted differently. I said Panarin and you said McKinnon, because they were the most valuable to their team. Now, the big thing here is that people forget the Hart Trophy isn't the Art Ross, which is who scored the most points. I obviously understand that Leon Draisaitl scored the most points in the NHL, but that doesn't mean he just gets the Hart Trophy. There's different criteria. It's who was the most valuable to their team. And I just simply need to say that Draisaitl wasn't even the best player on his line at times with Connor McDavid. So how could he have been the most valuable to his team? And the last point I'll say before I let Steve unwind into this is the people that were voting both McDavid and Draisaitl, it doesn't make sense. You're just canceling each other out. It should be one person who's the most valuable for their team, which is why McDavid and Draisaitl cannot be on your ballot together. I have so much more to say, but it just is a mess of emotion in my brain. So, Steve, what are your thoughts on Draisaitl winning the Hart?
Ailish, that was way too polite. Way too polite.
Okay, well, I don't want to scare people off. I'll get into it.
Listen, here's what I was thinking beforehand. I was like, oh, Draisaitl won it. Not who I would have voted for, but whatever, okay. And then the salt mine that is the Edmonton Oilers fan base flooded my mentions with, this guy. They talked about the mental gymnastics to talk about how good Draisaitl was when McDavid was out of the lineup. What was that, 6 games? Nathan McKinnon never had a healthy lineup once, and he finished with over 40 more points than his next closest teammate, who was a rookie defenseman, by the way. And also, I was talking about how, Draisaitl's defensive numbers were a little suspect. They weren't very good. And then I get people going, well, that's what the Selke Trophy is for. Are you all right? The MVP doesn't have to be good at defense? Listen.
You have to score.
You can call him your favorite player, whatever. Look at him. That's sick. No one's taking anything away from him. Look at Leon Draisaitl and how good at hockey he is. And who was that guy who just fed him the puck? He looks pretty good too. No one's saying Leon Draisaitl sucks. They're just saying Nathan McKinnon was clearly the most valuable player to his team this season. Leon Draisaitl, good for you, but no.
And
that's
the
wrong.
other point that bothers me is people saying, well, he won the Ted Lindsay, which is voted by the players. Obviously, he deserved the Hart. Okay, I was a player, and if you asked me to pick, who was the most valuable, I would have been like, who scored the most points? Marie-Philippe Poulin? Sure, vote casted. Because as a player, I'm sorry, I wasn't really studying analytics or Corsi. I was basically, my whole performance was did I score? Who scored more than me? Did I play? No, because this girl got more goals than me. And it was just points driven, I felt like, as a player, especially coaching, who's going to be in the lineup, who's going to play in the power play. I just felt like it was who's on a hot streak, who scored more goals. So just because he won the Ted Lindsay doesn't mean that he should win the Hart. These writers should be putting more effort into actually looking into advanced stats. I mean, women's hockey didn't have advanced stats, but I probably would have loved to kind of see what that would look like. But if these writers have access to it and they study this, and that is the difference between the Ted Lindsay, where it's player driven, whereas the Hart is okay, you're a professional writer, put some thought into this. Don't just look at the stats and say, oh yeah, he must have been the most valuable. We agree he was valuable, but was he the most valuable to his team? No. I need to get some people in the chat. It's blowing up. It's buzzing. So, okay, we have eBoy991. No, Panarin should have won. There's no way the New York Rangers make the playoffs this year without him. Agree. eBoy991, fan of the show. We like you very much. Thank you for agreeing.
I mean,
but then,
the extended playoffs, man. Like, it's not the same. It's not the same. Listen, I get it. He's got a funny face, and he does the high kick thing, and he's very good. But it's Nathan MacKinnon in a walk. I don't understand it.
Okay, and if it's not Nathan MacKinnon, there was quite a few other people that showed up in the Hart voting that were better options than Draisaitl. And like, just because he wasn't on some people's ballot, I mean, he still won. Like, the numbers were there. Yeah. But we have Spencer in the chat saying Draisaitl had better stats in almost every category over the other players. His team doesn't make the playoffs if he doesn't produce the way he did, like the previous seasons. Spencer, buddy.
What are those categories?
Can you get back to us with all the stats, because there are clearly some things that you haven't read. We'll follow up, but it's not correct. He scored lots of goals.
Yeah.
Yay.
Thanos comes down to earth, and Draisaitl and McDavid are in front of you, and he goes, I have to snap one of these guys away. Who are you picking? You're going to snap the league MVP? Okay. I know it's not the greatest argument, but it's mine.
Okay. Alex in the chat says a minus player should not win the Hart.
He got outscored at 5-on-5. What do you want? No one's saying he sucks. No one's saying he sucks.
People take this so personally. Like, I'm saying that I would like to see Draisaitl never play hockey again or something. Obviously, we agree that he's a great hockey player. But he did not win the Hart on a full picture. It was his stats and his goal production.
I had a nice shooting match with a friend. They said, well, listen, the Colorado Avalanche still make the playoffs without Nathan MacKinnon. This season? No, they extraordinarily do not. Whenever anybody went down with an injury, this guy got better. He was a monster, a Gronk, an unstoppable force of nature. He was robbed. I don't get it. We can yell about this for the rest of the show.
We could.
We have other topics? There's no point.
I think we should just continue to drop the gloves for the rest of the show. I mean, clearly, I think people are coming around to it. Yesterday, I think, did it come out yet? Oh, it was Monday. Monday, it was so heated on Twitter. Like, people were personally offended that their all-star still won, but was left off of ballots. And I think now, 2 days later, we're starting to realize how silly it is to be, personally offended that somebody didn't vote for your favorite player. So I think we can all take a deep breath and move on. I feel like that was a great segment, and I'm sweating again. I hate these ones. I don't like when you're yelling and screaming. It makes me nervous.
Oh, you're on the wrong show, Ailish.
Okay, but we do have something exciting for our viewers, something new. We have an actual surprise guest coming into the show, waiting in the waiting room, in the chat room. In case you guys didn't know, you can flex your hockey knowledge during the second intermission of every Stanley Cup Final game. So if you haven't seen this yet, head to sportsnet.ca/SNIQ for your chance at winning $1,500 real money in prizes, along with a chance at the $5,000 grand prize.
Ooh.
And we are now joined by the host of Sportsnet IQ, Faizal Khamisa. Thanks so much for coming on. Welcome to NHL Chatroom.
Thank you, Ailish. Thank you, Steve, for having me. This is really cool. It's cool to be a part of this. I've been watching the show over the last couple of weeks. It's been really fun, really interactive as well. And it's nice with all these sports that we get to do a lot of these cool things,
And our viewers are perfect. They think they know the answers to everything. So I feel like they would really love your show.
Well, it's not just your viewers. It's everybody, Steve, on hockey Twitter, as you know. They think they know the answer to every hockey question ever. And I feel like the purpose of SNIQ is to humble people a little bit. Like, as you know, we've got some easy questions there. Look, I've been saying that the last two games. You watch the game, just for the first two periods, you're getting a free answer already, right? We got 10 questions. You got to answer those 10 questions. The more points you get, the more money you win. We'll get to that in a sec. But how about a free answer for you? So you only have to worry about 9 questions. And look, I see you got your guys' score. I've seen everybody's score. You guys haven't done very well. That's okay. we're trying to get people to learn and trying to get people to have a little bit of fun as well. And really, that's what it's been about. Like, it's been a fun time in sports generally, hasn't it?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm loving having this debate with our viewers every week. Steve, are you enjoying?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's a unique time where, like, every 3-0 lead, you're like, this might evaporate in 5 seconds, and it often does.
Like, you have to watch till the end of every game. Look, in every sport right now, like, things get out of hand early, and then you're like, okay, a comeback is coming for somebody, right? And so it's been fun to experience sports in a very different perspective, obviously, but they're entertaining nonetheless right now. It's awesome.
So tell us how people can get involved in Sportsnet IQ and how can we win money, because that's what everybody cares about right now.
Yeah, look, it's really, really simple. Second intermission of every single Stanley Cup playoff game, I'm here hosting SNIQ for everybody. So it's 10 questions. You answer those 10 questions. Whoever finishes with the most points, they win $1,000, like $1,000 real dollars, not fake dollars, not doll hairs like we used to say when we were kids, like $1,000 real dollars. And $300 if you come in second, $200 for coming in third. That's $1,500 in total prizes every single game. So if you're a neutral just watching the Stanley Cup Final, which has been fun right now, you just root for 7 games so you can try to win as much money as possible. And even if you don't answer a single question right, this is the cool part, guys. You can still win $5,000 just by submitting your info. It's actually insane, Steve. And I know, again, I see how many you got wrong, but you got maybe some more opportunities to do it better.
I think I got more wrong than you.
How many people knew Brian Bellows led the Habs in goals in 92-93?
I did.
I see a hand up.
You guessed. You liar.
I guessed, but I guessed correctly.
I see a hand up.
Yep. Fair enough.
Listen. I figured if I were to come on your show, it might be cool to collaborate a little bit and do a bit of SNIQ here on NHL Chatroom. So I actually have some questions for you guys right now. We're not going to, load up your phone and do it. We're going to do it very simply. There's going to be 3 answers to every question. You're just going to put up a finger, 1, 2, or 3, depending on what you think the answer is. Are you guys cool with that? And I'm going to judge you accordingly. And I've heard from the people in the back that if you do poorly, I actually take over your show as well. So I don't want to put any pressure on you guys, but yeah.
I'm in.
Okay.
Well, you have no choice. I'm here. We're promoting this. We're going to do it. Okay?
All right.
And everybody watching, play at home as well. Don't put the answers in the chat. Do not put the answers in the chat because that would be cheating. Let them get humbled and then put the answers in the chat. All right. You guys ready? Yes. And we'll make it easy. I only have 5 questions for you guys. Okay, not 10 because, again, I saw how badly you guys did. So we got 5 questions for you. All right?
Okay.
Okay. Question number 1. This rapper performed at the 2012 NHL All-Star Game. Is it 1, Snoop Dogg, 2, Eminem, 3, Drake? Snoop Dogg, Eminem, Drake. 5 seconds, guys.
When do we put it up right away?
5 seconds, guys. 1, 2, or 3?
1.
Ooh, 0 for 2 on question number 1. That is the boy from the 666, Drizzy Drake, coming through. Had a really bad haircut at the time, but his music was money nonetheless. All right, number 2. This team was originally supposed to be named the Blades. Is it 1, San Jose, 2, Vancouver, 3, Vegas? San Jose, Vancouver, Vegas. The Sharks, the Canucks, the Golden Knights, one of these teams was supposed to be named the Blades.
That's my answer.
3 seconds left. 2.
I say 2. I don't care.
Okay, and I say
escape lane.
And I say 2 wrong answers again.
Oh.
The original owner of the San Jose Sharks put it out to a fan vote. The fans voted Blades, and he thought, ooh, I don't think that's an appropriate name, and they decided to go with the San Jose Sharks. 0 for 2. Let's move on to question number 3.
Wow.
He is, Steve, are you okay? Give me a second.
Yep.
We don't have a second. He is the first commissioner of the NHL. 1, Frank Calder. 2, Clarence Campbell. 3, Gary Bettman. Frank Calder, Clarence Campbell, Gary Bettman. 5 seconds, guys. 5 seconds.
Gary Bettman? It better not be Gary Bettman.
The answer is Gary Bettman.
No!
Previous to Gary Bettman's reign
That's not right.
The people in charge of the NHL were referred to as presidents. He is the commissioner of the NHL. Wording is important here, Ailish.
I
need
hate
you to
this
know.
game.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, it's actually very good.
A really
No,
good endorsement.
I
Okay,
quit.
let's move on. We only got 2 more left. We've got 2 more left.
Stupid.
Question number 4. Only this person's worn the number 0 on his uniform. A single-digit 0 on his uniform.
Like my score?
Yes. John Davidson, Neil Sheehy, Rick Dudley. Davidson, Sheehy, Dudley. 1, 2, or 3. The only player in
don't know any
NHL
of these
history
people.
to wear a single
What's the
0
story?
on his jersey. We've got a 3. We've got a 1. The answer is 2. Neil
Oh,
Sheehy.
come on.
Yeah.
How is it?
Yeah.
I'm right. Oh, I'm gonna get roasted in the chat. I know it already.
Yeah, no,
Whatever.
you are right now, and that's cool.
I'm
All right,
sure.
well, let's move on to our final question.
Double or nothing? Double or nothing?
Sure, what's double of 0, 0? But let's move on. The
Well,
player,
I get 2 points.
math was my strong point. Let's go. This player was traded for $1. Chris Draper, Ray Shepard, Esa Tikkanen. Chris Draper, Ray Shepard, Esa Tikkanen. 3
I
seconds.
was
you guys
first. I
It
put
doesn't-
one up first.
Yeah, you get
tell
more.
everybody
Sure.
it matters about time.
It does. Actually, that's a really good point. The faster you
So-
answer, the more points you get. Unfortunately,
means
you
I
did
win
answer
this
this one right. Both of you did.
but I
but-
got double points.
No, but no.
What?
No.
What?
We didn't
Diesel.
agree to that. We didn't
Yes,
agree
we
to
did.
that.
It's in the rule book.
No, it's not in the rule book. Let's make it very clear for everyone playing SNIQ in their second admission of every game.
Making up
There's
fake-
no double or nothing games. There's no double or nothing questions. You just answer the question. You get the standard amount of points based on how fast you answer. Look, I gotta say, guys, that was poor. That was poor
I'm
at best.
aware.
That was very poor. Congratulations, Steve. You got 2 questions right, and
Garbage.
Ailish, you got 1. I'm really disappointed at the
I
Drake
got the
one.
last one way faster, which means I win that question, which means we tied.
Can I
No.
tell you why it would
No.
be great if I was punished for that? I kept
Ah.
my finger down so she wouldn't see the answer because I knew
Yeah.
it right away.
Yeah, because I
so
know you know
unfair.
that one. I did that one for you, Steve. I did that
Yeah.
one for you.
And I
did
put
that
the
one for
finger
you.
up right away because I knew the answer, and it's timely, so I should get double point, and we should tie.
I was being devious. I don't know. I don't know,
Sorry.
Faisal. It's
the
up to
chat
you.
agrees with me. The chat says that we tied.
Ailish, you got 1
You've been
question
looking
right.
at the chat.
It matches your one.
No, I didn't look at
matches,
the chat.
matches your 1 career goal, so that's
Yeah, I
good.
was waiting for that one.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, no, we're good. We're good.
All
So,
right.
guys, look,
Can
that's how
we
simple the
boot
game
him
is.
off the
And
show?
in fact, you don't have to put up your fingers during the actual SNIQ. You have to use your phone or go to sportsnet.ca/SNIQ, and everything is basically done for you. And I get to be here and entertain you and guide you through this round. You guys get it now?
Yeah, so thanks
Yeah.
so much, Faisal. That was great. I loved every second of it.
I actually have an SNIQ to host in the second intermission, so I'll see you guys there, and hopefully everybody watching will see you there as well.
Okay, bye, Faisal. Get out of here.
Bye.
Well, thank you to Faisal once again for joining us. And make sure you tune in tonight to play Sportsnet IQ during the second intermission. Well, that was fun for you and not me. I will bounce back and redeem myself whenever we get the chance. So
I'm not very good at math, but I think 2 is bigger than 1.
yeah, whatever. Let's move on to something good because everyone's favorite segment is here, the bandwagon. Woo!
Let's go. Get on the bandwagon. Let's go.
This week on my bandwagon, it's a really good example of how good the hockey community can be when they come together. And so we saw 13-year-old Noah Dugas from North Bay was admitted to Sick Kids Hospital with an inoperable blood clot on his brain. And you saw all these Twitter folk come together to share his message and to wish him support. And, you know, often hockey community gets together for these types of things. And you see all these pro hockey players and organizations, you know, giving him support. And it was really lovely to see that. And, you know, we wish the best for Noah. And if we know one thing, Northern Ontario hockey players, they're tough. And so we wish the best for Noah and to stay strong. So Noah's on my bandwagon this week, and everybody send him good thoughts and prayers for his speedy recovery. So that's my bandwagon this week.
Absolutely, and that was just the tip of the iceberg. Saw lots of NHL players getting in there. So
Yeah.
rooting for you, Noah. My bandwagon, if you want to move on to that, I'm not even sure. I don't know if we even have footage for this. My bandwagon is chaos because it's going to happen. And we talked about it. It's every time we try to do a show, there's a trade. Today, there was a trade, except there wasn't a trade. We don't know if there's going to be a trade because of the financial situation of so many teams, because of just where people are at mentally. And there seems to be so many angry GMs. This draft season and free agency season and fall off season, we're going to have a pumpkin spice infused little 2 weeks. It is delicious. You all stop it.
Gross.
Stop being. No, you're all wrong. I'm going to correct everyone on pumpkin spice. Everyone's just trying to be cool, saying it's bad. It's great. And you know what else is going to be great? The next 2 or 3 weeks watching the NHL, there's going to be the most ridiculous trades, ridiculous signings, and the most ridiculous reasoning. I can't wait to see it and absolutely tear it all to shreds on the show.
Okay. It'll
bandwagon.
be fun content, hopefully, to come. Just like speaking about pumpkin spice for 1 second, I don't know if you saw that Kraft Dinner is going to make pumpkin spice Kraft Dinner. So, like, if that's as chaotic as fall is going to get, like, I can imagine that we're in for the long run here of craziness. So, I'm feeling sick thinking about it. So, please, can we move on to your dang it, Steve? Because your dang it better be Kraft Dinner that's flavored as pumpkin spice. Is it?
I tell you what, that's one of my hat picks because I DM'd Kraft Dinner yesterday and they're sending me some.
Of course. Well, you're famous, so don't flex on everyone that has to get in the waiting room to order Kraft Dinner like the peasants we are. You'll have to. Can you like live do it on NHL Chatroom and taste it?
Absolutely. Whatever. I don't know. Can they give us money for that? Hey, you want me to talk
What's
about
your dang it? Yeah.
So my dang it is. Listen, Nikita Kucherov had a great first period in game 2. Didn't start so great. So my dang it is a trifecta of him just getting trirecta. Came up with that, and I regretted immediately. There he is getting hit accidentally on purpose by Jamie Benn.
Oh!
The high stick from, I think that's Janmark there. And, just wrecked into the boards, and that is not a small man in Jamie Alexiak. So I said that you got to target Nikita Kucherov. The Stars obviously did to start the game.
To the chat room.
And look at the result. Boom.
Oh, yeah.
Palat couldn't even believe that Hudobin almost got it. But Kucherov, man, great outcome. But the beginning of that first period, that's a dang.
Were we not saying earlier that he was one of my Conn Smythe picks? I think we were saying that.
Sorry.
So we remember.
Was that before or after I won SNIQ?
It was before, so thank you for reminding me.
It was a long time ago. Sorry. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, because we like to end on a positive note on this show. My A-list this week is a personal story, very exciting. So from the archives, I have a photo that I was once in the presence of NHL goal scorer Joel Hanley. Here's just a wonderful memory that we shared together. Yep, there we are. So we were both a part of the York Simcoe Express AAA program. Unfortunately, he's 3 years older than me, so we were never teammates. But this photo, I think, is from 2003. Basically, we look exactly the same, I think. Real fun there. That was before emojis were a thing, but now there's that monkey emoji. So, like, maybe they were inspired by us. I'm not sure. But he's had quite the journey from the NHL, or to the NHL, from good old Keswick, Ontario. So put some respect on Keswick. He played everywhere from the ECHL to the AHL to multiple trades throughout every team in the NHL, where he finally landed in Texas and never gave up on his dreams and scored a huge goal in Game 1 in the Stanley Cup Final. His first ever NHL goal, to be exact. So, I mean, we have the same amount of career goals now. I know you tweeted that out. But it took him 48 more games. So,
wow, it's like that. It's like that.
Like
Who
that.
wore the green, white, and black better? I don't know.
Cool. We should put like a split screen and have everybody vote.
I mean, definitely, 100%. That's an adorable picture, though.
Yeah,
oh my
it was really fun. My mom remembered that we had it, and we went through my old hockey book, which was a journey itself. So maybe there'll be more things to come. If these players I used to play with do something great, I'll bring them up on the show on my A-list. But
moms.
Oh, moms. So before we sign off, we want to give a huge shout out to Schitt's Creek for bringing some Canadian pride to the TV screen. They swept the Emmys. I felt like I was watching the Olympics, and Canada kept winning gold medals. But then, I don't remember if anybody saw this, but Jimmy Kimmel slid in a pretty offside chirp about the lack of Canadian teams winning the Stanley Cup. Not sure we might have it here for our folks to see, but
the Canadians have won all the Emmys tonight, which, Canada only has like 200 people in it. As of tonight, 1 out of every 4 living Canadians has an Emmy Award. Schitt's Creek won 7 of them. Unfortunately, they fell just short. This is a killer. If they'd won 1 more Emmy, they would have been able to trade them in for this, a Stanley Cup. But they didn't, so we're going to keep it here for another 27 years. Sorry, Canada.
So we'd like to challenge Jimmy once the border opens. So not sure when that will be, but come on up here. Let's play a little 2v2. Steve and I, you can bring whoever you want, Jimmy, and we'll see who has the bragging rights then. So
you're really rolling the dice. You're rolling the dice there, Ailish. I don't know if you want to...
Yeah, I think you and Jimmy would balance each other out, and then it would just be who he can rope up to come up to Canada. I mean, people will probably actually really want to come up here by then, so it might be trouble. But anyway, pretty offside comment, and we're proud of Schitt's Creek for supporting and putting Canada on the map. Right?
Such a good quarantine watch. I really like it. Great show.
Great show.
Canadian. We gotta stop waiting for there to be a pandemic and for it to be on Netflix or something to enjoy this. I feel like a lot of Canadians will see a Canadian production and go, it must suck. No, Schitt's Creek is the best. Proven.
This is also a Canadian production, so we might be up for some sort of Emmy for web series, a Webby.
No, and that's 2 equally great Canadian productions now, Ailish.
I agree.
Dang it, hat picks.
The A-List and NHL Chatroom. So just before we sign off, we want to remind you that Game 3 is tonight. It's very, very close, right around the corner, so you don't want to miss it. Tampa Bay and Dallas face off tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern and 5 p.m. Pacific on Sportsnet and CBC. And as always, you can stream the game on Sportsnet now, so stay tuned. As we said earlier, we think whoever wins tonight might have the upper hand, and I'm going Tampa as a score of 3-2.
I also think whoever goes up 2-1 will have the upper hand, Ailish.
I meant maybe they'll have the momentum and they'll win.
I'm just being a jerk.
Let's sign off. Cancel the show. I'm done. I'm throwing in my resignation. Yeah, I know you beat me in that stupid game earlier too, so I'm bitter. Anyway, folks, thank you so much for tuning in. It was lovely to chat with you in the chat room from all over the globe, so keep it up, and we'll see you here next week. The Stanley Cup might have been awarded by then. Hopefully, we have some good content for you, and it'll be live next Wednesday at 6 o'clock p.m. See ya!